Welcome everyone. Today we'll have the latest patch notes and also weekly summary for Lost Ark. As you can see behind me, this is the latest patch notes, and what we're missing is actually the roadmap. So I actually went around to have a look what's happening with the direction of the roadmap, and we have some interesting find. We'll talk about why the roadmap is delayed. So there isn't that much to talk about in this patch, but there's a lot of information which I want to share with you guys. How will this affect the market? So we do have a summary notes of the latest update, and we'll talk about why is there no roadmap. And this is actually from official information why the roadmap is delayed. This is because players have not progressed as fast as the developers have hoped. So we'll talk about this in this video as well. Now on the second part of this video, I also want to do the weekly update for the items to trade. What items we should be looking into and what is the current trend of the market. Because if you guys haven't been paying attention, a lot of items have an interesting trend. Notice there is over 70% rise for Solar Blessing, and there is also changes to Solar Grace. There's also a spike, and also basically the tier 3 pouches, there have been certain changes that is quite unpredictable, but it's somewhat expected. We'll be having a look at this latest market trend, and I'll give you guys some insight of what I think is happening with those prices and how can we profit from this week's market trend. Because with no roadmap, a lot of things will change, and this can prepare us for next week as well. Now coming over to the official patch notes for this week, we can see the update will start at 12 AM server time. So this is for the server time, and this will be starting a few hours. This will likely to last 5 hours. I believe initially they said 4 hours, now it's 5 hours now. And this is also updated over here. I'll just give you guys a brief rundown. The biggest thing is fixing MMR in the PvP arena. There's also other few fixes and also the battle item fix. So if we come over here to our summary notes, we can see the time of the maintenance for 5 hours, and also over here the battle item bundle fix might slightly reduce the demand for potions, because those with more battle items, people will be buying potion less often for the meantime. But because of the weekly reset, we'll talk about the potions soon. Because of the weekly reset, people might be needing potions as they go for new raid and also new bosses. Now the bigger focus of this week's patch notes is about the PvP MMR system, and now everyone gets 250 MMR. Now this could help with the PvP exchange because some of the exchange requires you to have a certain level of your PvP level. But I haven't really looked into the PvP yet because my ping is 200, I can't really PvP. You might have met me a few times in PvP, I'm pretty bad as a berserker. Now coming over to the bigger focus of today's video and also this particular, there's no roadmap, right? So we do have an official post from the same, developer or same, moderator that is posting the official patch notes. And over here, he is mentioned that about the direction of the game and about why the patch notes is delayed. So you can see that the direction is constantly changing, and they're receiving the board of players data and they're receiving the progress of the players. So currently they can't share those changes and they can't share the roadmap. It's quite difficult to understand this whole paragraph, and I was looking around, I saw this post from a comic over here. He basically summarized what's happening. So I think I agree with him in some extent. He's saying the global version of the Lost Ark didn't hit the expectation of the developers because we're not progressing into the content as fast as they hoped to release the next content. That's why they haven't given us the update for the roadmap, because this will be same as rushing the players again. Because remember the Agros patch, we had a rush, and because there was players were not happy about how rushed the Agros patch was, the developers were giving us more materials, which could be something that may be happening as well. So if you guys remember, for the Agros patch for 1370, we had this released very early into the global server and players were not happy, and in return of this, we were getting more materials from from different events and also different upgrade materials to help the players to get to 1370. I think the developers may be trying to avoid rushing the players too much with the roadmap. But there have been a lot of expectations, anticipations from the community for this big April content for the roadmap. And simply saying that the players have not progressed as fast as expected and not giving us a roadmap, I think it's okay to give us a roadmap, but you don't have to rush the patch, right? Just tell us what's happening and we can prepare ahead of time. We can be buying materials, we can be preparing our characters so we know what our time is investing into will be really good. So I think roadmap is okay. Maybe not rushing that patch too quickly could be okay as well. So we'll talk about this as well. Now the upside of having this particular delay or the roadmap and everything is that we might be getting more tier 3 materials, because similar to 1370 with Agro's patch, we later saw that we got new events and also more free materials. So we're expecting similar plans and also events to come up to help players to reach faster for 1300. So 1415, and this is likely going to be the next content. We're expecting there will be like similar events to help the player to reach higher levels, and this could be really good because it is said that the next patch is likely going to have the Valten, which is going to be a new raid, and this will start likely at 1415. And basically those are some of the official information and also what is shared and also what's summarized by the community. Why is there no roadmap? Now, because there's no roadmap, this actually leads to some very interesting market trend. Because if you come over here, so this market trend, which we'll talk about on the second part, is the anticipation of the roadmap and also new content. And when there's no roadmap, you can see phew, the graph just goes down, right? Because people are like, oh no, I'm not buying my materials anymore because there's no need to rush anymore. So we'll talk about the market trend very soon. Now, before we finish, we also noticed that there is no more posts about fixing the bots. So this particular patch notes and also other notes, there is no more posting about fixing bots. I have heard some players were telling me there are bots in PvP as well, which is quite concerning. And there's also bots in mapping as well, and also tier 3. So let's hope everything's under control, and also let's hope things are progressing well with the developers to look into this issue, because this is a bigger factor that will affect the player base and also the market. And we really don't want the bots to be affecting the price of items, because as you can see with some of the items, they're dropping really fast. I mean, those Guardian Stones and Destruction Stones 2 weeks ago, they were selling for 100 and also 200 gold. Now they're selling 10 times as low as that. So something needs to be done with the bots, and let's hope the developers will look into that. Now, coming over to a second part of the video. Before we start the video, guys, I do want to apologize for the error in the Potion Excel calculator. So if you have saw the previous video, I was in a rush to make the Potion Excel calculator, and I changed some titles, and because of that, I actually swapped 2 of the values, and this made the potion calculation a little lower than expected. Hopefully you guys didn't craft too many potions, and I do want to warn you guys that the crafting of the potion, if you're selling any item that is under 20 gold, there will be 1 gold of fee that you are listing the item. And also crafting of the potions, the 45% potion I was talking about, there will be a 14 gold fee for 3 potions, and this comes to about 4.5 gold each per potion for the fee. So if you're selling the potion, make sure you add on 1 gold and also 4.5 gold for the potion to make sure you know the exact cost of your potion. And again, guys, I do apologize for getting the Excel wrong. I never should rushed it. I was too many things and I typed it too quickly. So I really do apologize if you guys were looking into it and you had the wrong value. Now, coming over to some notes about why did the market price go up this week, and especially for radar materials. So what I mean by that is, if you look at the radar materials and also tier 3 pouches, you can see Solar Grace actually went from 30 gold to 44 gold actually, and I was keeping track of that. Solar Blessing was the biggest. It went from 100 gold to 170 gold on the market, so 70% raise. And also Solar Blessing went from 200 gold to 300 gold. So those are pretty interesting trend. And also you can see the tier 3 shard pouches, they went from 20 gold to 30 gold, so that's a 50% rise. So just to give you guys a summary, why did this happen, and also what's to be expected on the following week. Well, the first thing is, those price of those items have been falling really hard because the market was panicking. Notice that the market was crashing a lot since last week, and because of that, market was panic selling. So people were dumping the materials away very quickly, and no one was buying them because everyone expected the price to continue to go down, right? No one will want to buy in the middle phase. Everyone will be like, I'm waiting for the price to go lower. And sometime earlier this week, so this is after the Chaos Gate reset. So after the Tuesday's Chaos Gate, there hasn't been any Chaos Gate on Wednesday. So between the Tuesday, Chaos Gate morning to Wednesday, there has been a really sharp rise in price because there's 2 reasons. One is that there's no Chaos Gate. The second reason is players were anticipating a roadmap and also new directions of the game. And if that happens, then a lot of players will be buying those items, and players were preparing to to higher levels to prepare for the new content. But sadly, that is not released today, and it seems like the roadmap has been delayed. And this would delay players' incentive and also motivation to buy into items. And this is why you see after the rise of those radar materials, they are falling down again. And this might go up a little more after the reset as players upgrade for more materials, but this is likely going to fall back down to the lower point which I will talk about very soon. So this is one of the reasons why you can see the price rise then fall down again, is because, you know, players were anticipating for the new content, but because no new information of the new content is coming this week, so they're no longer as rushed as before. There's also another reason why the price actually raised before the weekly reset, is that some of the players will be pushing for 1,370 or 1,385 before the weekly reset, which will happen in a few hours. So players will be trying for aggros content, and they also want higher levels of the Chaos Dungeon and also Guardian Raid for more loot that is available in the game. And this is why you usually see the price will usually have a rise after the weekly reset, or right before the weekly reset, between that time. And this is my old pattern, which I will be making a new guide video to show you guys how to follow the latest patterns. Because notice that there's also certain times of the day and certain ways to buy items for much cheaper and sell them for profit. Now, without the roadmap, there's also items like the tier 3 materials that will continue to fall, which we'll talk about on this part as well. So there will be the Guardian Stones, Destruction Stones, Honor Lipstones, and also Greater Honor Lipstones. Now, coming over to a weekly summary of the Excel table, basically I have a summary of the trend of the market, and those are my personal predictions, guys, so be aware if you're using this to trade in the market. Right away, we can see that the Moon's Breath, the price for those items will definitely have lowered a lot. So I'm no longer into the Moon's Breath. I'm just putting this here to show you guys it's probably not a good deal to trade the Moon's Breath, because likely this won't go up, because most players are not trying to get a tier 2 account into tier 3, because they get so much free materials into the new event that is available. Now, if you guys remember seeing the trend that I showed you guys earlier, so basically the trend of the retail materials, you can see that the trend for those materials, they have seen a rise in price. And basically similar to what I said about, you know, the pricing of those items, if you do plan to buy into those items, so what's going to happen right after the weekly reset is we might see a slight increase of price as players will have incentives to home their materials with more resources from the weekly exchange. So we might see anywhere from 5 to 30% rise in price. But that is not saying that you should be buying those materials now. We have probably missed the window for the lowest point. Now, the price might seem low, but what I do recommend is if you buy items, come over to those items and hover your mouse over to the average day price. So sometimes those may be a small indication of where you kind of want to buy them. Notice the average day price for Solar Blessing, the lowest point was about 108 gold. If you're buying those items below 108 or 105 gold, that's a good deal. Now the average price is 142 gold, so you kind of don't want to rush into buying those now because they're not the lowest price at this point. And over here are some recommendations if you're planning to sell those items. If you're still holding on to them, the best time to sell will be about 0 to 8 hours after the new patch reset, because it will be about 4 to 5 hours of the update. Sometimes updates will finish earlier, but you do want to sell before the Chaos Gate comes back again. Now, if you're planning to buy, make sure you wait for at least 1 day for the price to drop. And I know the weekend is coming and most people want to home in the weekend, so make sure you buy when there's more supply from the Chaos Gate. Now, for the trend of the stones and also lipstones, I'm sure you guys know they will be falling in prices. So those prices will continue to fall. So what I mean by that is the Guardian Stones, the Destruction Stones, Honor Lipstones, and also Great Honor Lipstones. So let me show you guys the market trend over here. Basically, if you have a look at the market trend, you can see that those have not really going up. I mean, 9 and 10 gold is just a fluctuation, right? So those have not really been going up. Those have been falling steadily. And one thing I want to highlight with you guys is the price of Great Honor Lipstones is likely to fall even further. You may be wondering why this is the case. So what you're going to notice is the Honor Lipstones are very high on supply. And how it works is you can convert 5 Honor Lipstones to 1 Great Honor Lipstones with the exchange of NPCs. Now, this means that any time the Honor Lipstones falls below 1 to 5 ratio, the Great Honor Lipstone will fall. And you can see that people will start to panic sell Great Honor Lipstones. Sometimes you will see Great Honor Lipstones to be higher priced than 1 to 5 ratio, but then people will stop buying this item, people will buy 5 of the Honor Lipstones. Now, because Honor Lipstones are falling really hard, so Great Honor Lipstones is likely going to fall. The only exception for the Lipstones and also the stones to rise in price is likely going to be the new patch and also new content. But before that, players will be expecting those items to fall, and not many players will be buying those items without a roadmap and also without new content to be expected in the next week or two. Now as we're looking into the skins and also mounts and also pets, you can see over here I'm also monitoring those items, the skins, the mounts and also pets and also potions. What you're going to notice is the price of those items will continue to fall. One of the bigger reasons for this is a lot of new players have now gotten the new Mokoko mount, Mokoko pet and also Mokoko skin. And those are quite good, right? Why would you pay money to buy those other ones when you have the latest ones? And they look quite interesting. And I finally got mine. So look, I'm Yushi. No, I'm a green dinosaur. So I finally got mine as well. And to my surprise, and one of my guildmates told me about this, the free skins actually give you some really good stats. Some players were buying the skins for the voucher stats, and if you look at the green skins, I'm getting courage, charisma, I'm getting a lot of charisma and kindness. So those skins actually give decent stats. They also give 2% strength bonus and also 1% strength bonus. So they give similar stats to a lot of the skins that people may be buying for the bonus stats. So what I mean by that is, so let me show you guys the skins. What did they go? So let's say if I'm going for the skins. A lot of people were buying the skins for the bonus stats, so notice that this chest will give 2% strength and some courage and charisma. So notice that the free skins are very similar to the premium skins that sells for like 20-30,000 gold, and this is one of the reasons why the skin price has been fallen, and I don't recommend buying into the skins because of this. Now finally, as a highlight of the week for what items to look for and also what items I might be looking to trading. So last week we'll talk about the tier 3 pouches. I was surprised that the tier 3 pouches didn't raise as much, but you can see the trend for the tier 3 pouches. They hit one of the all-time low around 20 gold and then they spec into 30 gold. So there was a 50% increase for the tier 3 pouches. I do think similar pattern might happen, but don't invest too much on it. The demand for those items are not very high. And after that, the other thing I do want to highlight is the gold to crystal prices. The gold to crystal prices is quite interesting. One reason why it's so low in the game, so some of you might be wondering, why is it so low? Why is why is it gold to crystal price so low? I mean, it's not too low today. Earlier it was like 320 to 95 crystals. One of the reasons why gold to crystal is so low at the moment is because all the other materials in the game are super low right now. So one of the reasons players will be buying gold to crystals is that they can buy the items from the Mario Secret Shop for cheaper. So notice I'm buying items from the Mario Secret Shop for cheaper. Now because those items are already super low and the market has crashed on those items, people kind of don't need a lot of crystals because they're not getting that much of a discount. But the moment the item price for the items on the market goes up, the similar price for the gold to crystal will go up. And what we can expect is when a new patch comes, a lot of inflation, a lot of price will be going up. And if you do plan to buy crystals, right now, or maybe wait a little bit, might be the best time. Before the new patch, before the roadmap comes, this might be a good bargain to buy into crystals. But we don't know, right? So this is just some of my recommendations. I'll show you guys the trend over here. So you can see the trend for crystals. For the past few days, it have been getting to the low point about 320 gold on my server, but notice that there's a small rise, but it's likely going to fall and we're looking for a fall. Notice that I have been buying up my crystals as well because of this. So I'll show you my crystal purchase. Basically you can see I'm trying to buy them at 301 gold and no one's selling. So previously I was buying them at 335 gold, 334 gold. I was buying those at those rates. So try to buy those a little bit, stock up a little bit so that you can use them. Small chance they might rise, but also a small chance they might fall again. Now finally, the items I'm looking into for the coming week will be the rate up materials again, Solar Grace, Solar Blessing and also Solar Protection. So for those items, we have seen the trend that the capacity for those items to rise massively, and I do want to find a lower point to trade on those items very soon. So what I'm currently looking for is I'm currently to see if the price for those items will fall below the current lowest point. So if we come over to the game, I'll show you guys the lowest point for those items. So for Solar Blessing, you can see the lowest point is about 105 gold. I'm looking for it to fall below 100 gold. If that's the case, this may be really profitable to trade for the near future. But remember guys, don't buy into this too much. Make sure you observe your server patterns and also the different regions of the game, because this might happen on my region, it might not happen on your region. So make sure you try to observe this before you make too big of an investment. And if you do make a big investment, try to not buy into just one item. Try to diversify your investment into multiple items. And this seems the best way. Because if you buy like say 1000 Solar Blessing, then you need someone to buy off you, right? So someone need to use them. So if you buy too much of a one item and no one's buying off you, people will just undercut you. Let's say if I sell my Solar Blessing at 140 gold, then everyone will sell it below 140 gold, then it's hard for me to sell all of them. So you don't want to be stocking up on too many items if you're trading just for one of them. You want to trade multiple items that can be profitable. Now, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. I usually want to give you guys the best analysis and also the best information for the upcoming week. And just be aware, guys, sometimes I can be wrong, so those are my personal predictions. And what I try to do is, as we get more official information, as we get more things that will affect the market, I'll definitely let you guys know. And hopefully we can make more gold together and also prepare for the next patch, which, you know, we're still waiting for the roadmap, right? So fingers crossed we get more information of the roadmap by next week. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you do so, because we'll be getting a lot of guides, a lot of tips as I discover them, and I love the game. So I want to share as much as I can with you guys, and let's have a great time in Lost Ark as we explore this game and get the most out of it.